So I showed this, right, a student 2 or 3 weeks ago. I think it was 3 weeks ago. And they came to me going, Alex, ball position doesn't really matter. Like, I've got to get my swing right. Well, it does. It seriously influences your swing. We went through this exact process, finding out where the ball position should be for the said club. Ball striking just went off the charts. Off the charts. And it did feel strange because it's new, but ball striking went off the charts. Now, as you know, as a PGA golf coach, I teach hundreds of clients. When I show them ball position, they're like, wow. So I want you to think of this as your official ball position for every single club for 2024 season. So with driver, let me show you what ball position influences. So if we've got it exactly where we should have it, right, inside that left heel, you can see how you can hit up on the golf ball, okay? So this is affecting our angle of attack. Now, the more I move my ball back in my stance, can you see how I reduce hitting up to then going to hit down on the golf ball? Let me show you that again. If I shuffle this way, I now hit more up. If I shuffle this way, I now hit less up and then eventually hit down on the golf ball for that said club. So that's angle of attack. But I also said it affects club paths. Let me show you this. Now this bit might seem like a lot of information, but it really truly makes a difference. Now your ball position has an influence on your club path. And simply think about it this way. The further forward our ball position goes in our stance, the more likely you are to swing a little bit more out to in. So have a look at this circle here. The more we move the ball back in our stance, look how now we access this circle a little easier. Now all I'm saying is it has an influence on your club path. If you're throwing it massively over the top, this is going to reduce it slightly. But what I want you to think about this is, if you get this matched up correctly, you can really see how you're going to hit longer, straighter shots. So I've just shown you there really simply how it affects angle of attack and how it affects your club path. You will also notice that the later we hit it in the arc, the longer we've got time to square that face. And then the earlier we're in the arc, the more likely our face is going to be open because the less time we've got to square it. So, let me show you now the official ball position list that you've got to follow for 2024. I'm going to show you this a few different ways, one from low down and the other one from player count, just so you can really see and you've got something to copy. Perfect, right? Also, I have a putter in my hand because this is essential you get the right ball position for this. So at the end of the video, I'm going to show you exactly where you've got this. Because you think, right, putter is the most used club in your bag, so do not underestimate this ball position. Right, so let's go through the set. Now, how I think about this is I just go through and think, right, okay, if I can get my even numbered clubs absolutely dialed in, plus my driver, then I just plug the gaps in my odds. So really, you've only got to imagine you've got to get half your set right, okay? So let's start off with pitching wedge. Now, what I've done here is I've created a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 golf ball little drill, where I want you to move half a ball further forward as you go from each club. So if we started with pitching wedge on the back golf ball, then you would go into 9-iron, 8-iron, 7-iron, 6-iron, 5-iron, 4-iron, and then this last one would be sort of our 3 woods and hybrids, and finally, eventually, hitting driver. But let me just show you this now. So how I would really hit some golf balls is I would have this out on the driving range, and then I would place my golf ball now for pitching wedge, where the left golf ball is always sitting inside my left heel, and this golf ball now is just back of middle. So this here from player cam and from low down is your official ball position for 2024 for your pitching wedge to have a great influence on your club face, your angle of attack, and your club path. So now we're going to go on to 8-iron. So remember, go through your list. So pitching wedge, 9-iron, 8-iron. So we would move that golf ball now here. I've not moved my feet. I've got the same position, and because I've got a more stronger lofted club than what I had in my pitching wedge, I don't need to, one, hit down on it as much, and therefore it's a little bit longer. I also need a little bit more time to square up the face. So I'm gradually moving this further towards my left heel. So pitching wedge, 9-iron, 8-iron ball position. And you can just see there, that's exactly where I need to put it. So let's swiftly now move on to our 6-iron. So we're on 8-iron, 7 iron, 6 iron would be roughly around here. Can you see the influence that this guide has? It's the simplest way to know when you're practicing, have you got it right? Also take note of how this looks from the player cam. You can just almost take a screenshot, save this video as I said, and just promise me at least once a month down at the driving range throughout the season, you're going to use this video as your guide because you will need to reset. This is something that I do. So that's our 6 iron. And finally, let's move into our 4 iron where we go just here. This is our 4 iron. Remember, pitching wedge, 9 iron, 8 iron, 7 iron, 6 iron, 5 iron, 4 iron, and then the next one along, remember, that would be simply our hybrids, our 5 woods, our 7 woods, and then finally, I mean just before that actually, don't get carried away Alex, please take note of this one here. Again, this is our 4 iron ball position. If we had our driver, we would keep exactly the same position with all the golf balls, but have our ball position inside our left heel to help us hit up the most. And I've also done a different video on tee height, but I've just got this teed half a ball above the face for the sake of this video, but you can see there from player cam and from here, that's exactly where I would have that ball position and your official ball position with driver. So you can see it's so important to give you the right time to square the face. The way I explain this to my students when they come, if you think, right, let me grab my pitching wedge and look at the difference in length. That's 4 iron, Alex. That's pitching wedge. Look at the difference in length. I thought that was a very long 4 iron, very long pitching wedge. Have a look at this pitching wedge. Okay, so it's got more loft. That means you want to hit down. It's a shorter shaft and one that sits more this way. So therefore, we need the ball earlier. Our driver is our flattest club, on a more sort of more down to the ground angle here. This needs the longest time because it's the flattest face and the longest club. So we have that ball as far forward as possible. Now I mentioned this at the start, didn't I? Putter. Let's get this right because I just really think this is sort of a really overlooked ball position. And I've got a little bit of a hack here that I do, not all the time, but like certainly on the practice putting green before I go out. Have a look at this. We don't use them as golf balls anymore. We just do it from dangling a putter from our sternum. So address your golf ball, and I want you to have it where if I just drop this down, the ball is sat just to the left of where the middle of my sternum is. Now this really helps a slight upwards hit towards the golf ball, okay? I don't want to be hitting it up too much, but I certainly don't want it back here hitting down. So your little check is this. Boom, perfect. And I'll just show you this in player cam. You can just see how the ball is slightly ahead. You've now got, for every single one of your clubs, the official guide for 2024. The final thing that I would really just not forget here is with your wedges, so like your specialist ones, like your sand wedge and your gap wedge, they're going to be on that back side of where you started with pitching wedge. Look at this as anything that's a specialist wedge is to the right-hand side for a right-handed player and to the left-hand side for a left-handed player in your ball position. Thanks for watching and don't forget to subscribe.